have a very special guest designer in the building, whose creations can be found in unique, fashion-forward, freestanding, high-end boutiques across Canada, New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and Boston. His collections have been described as classic shapes with a modern and electric twist to them, making his pieces uniquely his own. A true inspiration to myself and young designers all around the world, I am extremely pleased and honored to welcome and introduce to you my friend, designer Samuel Vartan.
So I came from a film and communications background with a very strong background in music. So everything was going fine for me in 1980, so I'm 50 years old. And I think like fashion just like crept up on me slowly, and then here I was trying to decide between film and music. And then this thing with fashion just, I started making some clothes for the band. I think we're on our last tour, and I said, let's go out with a band, so I designed the clothes. One thing led to another. A friend said, could you make one for my girlfriend, or my other friends want some, and then another friend of mine who owned cafes, restaurants. And then next thing I knew, I was making these clothes, and I was making actually money out of it, so it was great. And then I just followed my heart, and that's really what I wanted to tell you guys, is that in this economy, in the world, what we're looking at in this world, and there's a lot of people that are going to tell you, you know what, take the smart path, go into a degree or do something that you're going to make money out of. You will make money eventually doing your passions. Because one way or another, if you're honest with yourself, you're going to do it. And that's what I did. And may I remind you, I was making money with music and I was already working on film production. So that was my biggest dilemma. So my only advice and the only thing I can honestly share with you is that I'm no different than you, that you need to stick to what you believe in, if it's a vision, whether it's music or something you believe in audio, or a mood, or a message that you want to portray. You got to stick to your guns, and that's the truth. And sometimes it's going to be very hard because you're going to have a lot of people be, around you saying, why don't you get a regular job and try to, feed it, whatever, which is true. You need to survive. At my age, even though I was young, I knew that I wanted to make a living because, my lifestyle just required a lot of money at the time. But I was able to do it. I'm just trying to say that myself, who's the top designer today? There's so many of them. No one's any different than you are. The only difference is, the same thing that you'll see from them is that they stuck to their guns and they did it. I didn't have any training, but I knew I had a vision. I can draw. I knew I can draw from a young age. So I sketched and I worked with pattern makers. Are there any pattern makers out here tonight? Who does patterns here? Okay, that's good. Nobody. Okay. See, if it wasn't for pattern makers, I wouldn't have been here. I learned from pattern makers. And I always preach it, you know what, you gotta ask questions. How do you do this? How did you do this? Don't be shy about asking how to do things. How does this camera work? Or how do you pluck the strings like this if it's a musical instrument that you're trying to master? So I'm assuming there's a variety of types of people out here who are doing like several arts. And they're all amazing, and I'm able to use all those elements now in my shows and my ad campaign, so everything comes together somehow to portray your dream or your view or whatever it is that you're doing that's so personal to you. So you can't let people tell you, you can't do this, because you need to get by in life, and then maybe later on if you make money, then you can pursue your dreams. You got to do them at the same time. It means you got to be a hardworking person. But if you're not afraid of hard work, and you're not afraid of being turned down, you'll do fine. So my words of encouragement are stick to your visions, look ahead, don't look left, don't look right, be smart, take advice, but learn to know what's the good advice, because there's a lot of people out there who say they're your friends and whatever, and then they steer you the wrong way. You know what your true vision is, you gotta stick to it. And I'm sorry that my words are not more eloquent or I don't have a fantastic speech, but I'm telling you what's in my heart. You gotta follow your heart, because if you don't, like me, I would have been dead, because I needed to express myself some way. And there was many ways. I had a lot on my mind, and there's a lot that I want to do. And in the beginning, I'm thinking, what am I going to express with fashion? How much can you do with clothing? And for me, fashion is not interesting as much as style. Style, a personal sense of style is much more interesting than just blatant fashion. I'm not interested in trends. I don't particularly care about being a trendsetter. I just want to do what I believe in. And if you can communicate it properly, whether it's through film, music, or fashion, and present it to it well, okay, with class, like not the half-assed work, somebody out there, you'll find an audience, I believe it. Your job is to know how to reach those people, how to market your baby, whatever it is that your craft is. And just be honest about the whole ride, the whole trip. Just be brutally honest with yourself. Am I really good at this? Do I really have a knack at this? And if you do not let anybody except God tell you you can't do it. All right?